You're listening to the Plain Talking UK podcast, the UK-based podcast written by a passenger for anyone. And here are your hosts, Carl Stebbings and Matt Smith.
Well, hello and welcome to episode number 168 of the Plain Talking UK podcast. I'm Carl Stebbings, and joining me in the lounge studio again this week is my co-host Matt Smith.
Hello everyone, hello. We're having the mickey taken out of us in the chat room, by the way,
Really?
because it's just like somebody said last week, Thomas Mandrake said laugh my ass off last week they couldn't finish the show, and now this week they can't start it, which is about right. We are running about 40 minutes late, ladies and gentlemen. We'd normally start at 7, but Matt had a couple of technical issues which he had to address. But it's all good now. Everything's hunky-dory, so humble apologies, everyone. There seems to be an alarming amount of amusement about my, if you are watching on YouTube, my microphone cover is causing an alarming amount of amusement.
Mild amount of amusement.
Yes, indeed. No, I'm going to go with alarming. I'm going to stick with that. Yeah, absolutely.
So we have got a guest joining us in the lounge studio.
You nearly said kitchen studio, didn't you?
Oh, force of habit.
I can't remember the last time we were in the kitchen studio, actually.
We've been barred from there.
Oh, have we?
Yeah. So
we're in trouble.
the guest we have in the lounge studio this week is the same guest as we had last week, because he hasn't left.
No.
He's been loitering in my house for the last week. So welcome, Eoin.
Loitering in your house? No, loitering in Matt's house.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's all right. But it's all right. The food's good there. Mother does the cooking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So welcome, Eoin. How are you anyway?
I'm not too bad.
Good.
Not too bad. Glad to be back.
Good. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Have you been,
After what, 5 days?
I know. Have you actually flown anywhere this week?
Yes, I have. I did five destinations this week.
Ooh, very nice.
Did Ibiza, Poitiers on the first day. Next day was home standby. Day after went to Cagliari in Sardinia. Next was Las Palmas and Palma de Mallorca to finish.
Wow.
Wow. Busy
Quite a long
week for Eoin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we've got 2 more guests as well.
Have we?
Joining us via Skype this week, and so we're going to save the best till last. So we'll say hello to Matty Fab. Welcome.
That's a bit
rude. Oh no!
Well, I was going to say ladies first, but that's us.
That would have been a far less offensive than what just came out of your mouth.
Oh, Matty, he knows we love him.
No.
Welcome back on.
You're not wrong, Carlos. You're totally right.
I know. Welcome back on, Matty. It's lovely to see you back again.
Thanks for having me on. Nice to be here again.
We've been following your progress on the various YouTube and Facebooks and stuff, and it looks like you've been having rather a busy sort of year so far for you.
Yeah, getting some different things in my logbook, so yeah, all good.
Yeah, good. Well,
getting some different things in his logbook.
We'll talk about
honestly.
that.
We'll
have a good old catch up with Matty.
Yeah.
Later, and also joining Matty via Skype as well. We've got someone else who's been moving on in leaps and bounds this year. So welcome onto the show, Mila.
Hi everyone.
Oh,
how are you, Mila?
I'm fine, thanks. Yes.
Good.
Good to be back.
Yes, we haven't had you on for a while, but you've been incredibly busy.
Busy as well.
You've been very, very busy, and you've acquired yourself a very very nice position, haven't you? Within
Yes, I have. It all went very fast. You get a phone call and they ask you if you can be in Dublin a week later, and you say yes, and then a week after that you get the results. So.
Wow. That is very cool.
I know, it's so
well,
good.
Again, we will talk about that in greater detail later on.
So,
but it's housekeeping time.
So it's the 9th of June, and it is 7:45.
Yes, a little bit later than originally planned, but we'll gloss over that.
I know. So welcome as well to everyone who's joined us in the chat room this evening. We've got Glenn Towler, Jen Niffer, Lane Street, Liz Piper, Mariana, Mark Harvey, Miami Hick, Paul Tricker's in there. We've got Rick Bell, Richard King, Thomas Mandrake, Tony S, Micah's in there. Just scrolling down the list here. Have I missed anyone else? I don't think I've missed anyone, have I? Matty Fab and Mila in the chat room.
I've heard of them. Yeah, I've heard of both
Which
of
is
those.
always handy.
But yes, absolutely.
Liz Piper. I don't think I've missed anyone out, have I? No.
Probably, but that's all right. It's fine. But I mean, you insulted one of our guests at the top of the show, so
Alice doesn't do charming.
No, indeed.
Thank you.
We leave that to the Irish. That's all part of.
So before we start the show, we have got, as Matt said, a little bit of housekeeping to do.
Indeed, absolutely.
Oh, that sounds good. Oh, it actually worked. Well done.
Yeah, all right. Look, look. I had a couple of issues at the start, but you know.
So that music
God,
is...
He's in one of those moods, isn't he, ladies and gentlemen? He's picking on everyone today. No one, ladies and gentlemen, is safe. Brace yourselves. And Benjamin Todd. You missed Benjamin Todd.
Oh, Benjamin Todd.
Yeah,
sorry,
and
Benjamin.
Lane Street as well.
And Lane. I did say Lane
Street.
Street.
Did you? Oh,
yeah,
okay. All right. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Anyway, sorry. I'll shut up now.
Yeah, so that music, as everyone knows, is the Earl Grey Fund music, and it's our chance to say a huge thank you to everyone who has been donating to us via Patreon. As you all know, the Patreon donations helped me and Matt to put together this mass amount
Pile
of
of
cabling
technology.
each week,
Absolutely,
and enables us to do the show and visit the different air shows that we're going to be visiting this year. And I've got a meeting tomorrow with one of our local air shows here, not far from us, and we're hopefully going to be doing a live broadcast from that air show via satellite. So that should be fun. But it's a massive thank you, as always, to all our Patreon donators. So we're going to quick run through all the amazing people who donate each week or each month to us. So Adrian Meacham, we've got Captain Jeff, Dr. Steph, Stuart Black, Jeff Newman, Liz Piper, Adam Spink, Matt Donemeyer, Jeff Ward, Ben Todd, York Mola, Philip Labe, Captain Al, Adam Spink, Matthew Bunting Frame, Mila, Ryan Harper, Jenny Parkinson, Schutbacher, and Ray Williams. So a massive thanks to all you guys for your very generous donations this week. Don't forget, if you do want to join our Patreon list as well, and you want to donate if you can. I mean, you know, it's only if you can. So if you've got an extra quid that's fell behind, or an extra dollar that's fell behind the sofa at home, and you want to donate, if you take yourselves over to the website, and there's a link on there to Patreon, and you can do it, or you can do it by the old-fashioned way, PayPal, which is another way you can donate to the show via PayPal. And it's very, very much appreciated indeed.
Certainly is.
And also as a kind of special thank you to everyone who donates, and all our listeners as well. We've obviously got our kind of visit to London next year for our 200th show, and we're gonna be we've got a few of our Patreon donators who are joining us in London, who are in the UK on the day, but we've also got spaces for some of the listeners who want to join us in London for our 200th show, and joining us at the NP Simulations, where me and Matt and Eoin and also Neville went as well a few weeks or a few months or a month back, wasn't it?
Indeed, yeah, absolutely. So if you'd like to be considered to come and join us for that,
we have had a few emails in.
We have, good, absolutely. Yeah. But please keep those emails coming in. You need to send them, please, to podcast@planetalkinguk.com, and basically say that you are able to be in London on the. I've forgotten what the date was.
I think it's the 10th.
Bear with me. I should look on my diary.
Quickly, children, quickly.
It's January the.
I think it's the 10th.
I think it is the 10th.
Yeah, Saturday, January the 10th.
No, the 10th of January is a Wednesday. So it's
not bad. No.
I think
this is going really well, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
think it's the 20th. It's either the 20th or the... I've got it written down upstairs.
Okay, well, that doesn't help us right now, does it? Owen, you must have it in your machine because you booked something off for it, didn't you? So
yeah, I think it's either the 13th or the 20th.
Okay, right, good. All right, well, before we finish the show, ladies and gentlemen, we will actually have the date. But when we found that date, you need to send your request, if you like, to come and join us, because I'm afraid it is invite only.
Yeah.
But
so basically,
if we've got space, basically you'll get in. So please email us at podcast@planetalkinguk.com. Yes, and absolutely. If we're oversubscribed, then we will be. Okay, all right.
I think we will
be doing a draw. Okay, fair enough. So
it's going to be a good day.
Okay, yeah. Anybody found the date yet? I mean, I'm stalling as best. You stopped.
Sorry.
No, you both stopped looking.
Stop looking.
Right.
I think I'm pretty sure it's the 20th.
Okay,
of January.
Yeah, absolutely. If you say so. I don't believe you, but.
Well, the 20th will be my middle day off, so I think
that
that's,
sounds about. I think that, as you said, that was
20th of January. Yeah.
Oh, we're really good at this, aren't we?
I know. That's preparation for you. That's preparation for you. But
and I've changed phones, so I can't look at.
I know, and I don't think it's in my
Oh
here
dear.
either.
Well, that was.
Rest assured, it will actually be happening.
Yeah, no, it's definitely happening.
In January.
You've been in contact with them today, haven't you? So
yes, I have actually been in contact with the guys there today. So it's all rather exciting stuff.
Indeed.
Especially
Yes.
if there's someone who hasn't been or hasn't had a chance to ever fly in a flight simulator before. It's a good chance to. Obviously, for some of our listeners, it's going to be a bit of a stretch to come all the way from the US. But we're hopeful that a lot of our UK listeners will be able to join us on the day. So we'll be able to move on with some news, I suppose.
All right, okay,
so we are going to start the show then, as we do each week, with our rundown of the weekly news from around the world and the UK. So if you're ready, Matt.
I certainly am.
If you're ready, Owen.
Yes.
He's eating. He's eating.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
if you're ready, Matty and Mila,
Absolutely.
let's go. So, kicking off this week's first news story on the NBCBayArena.com. God, where do I find his website?
Oh, who knows?
So the headline, because of obviously we do like a bit of airline baggage loss scandal. So this one, airline loses man's bag twice and then sends him a car part instead. So so we regularly so it's the complaints and stuff about baggage loss. This is the first time, however, that have been asked to help someone whose airline lost their luggage more than once. Early this year, Petrano embarked on a transatlantic jaunt that took him from San Francisco to Iceland, Sweden, Holland, and then back to SFO via Iceland and Newark and New Jersey. The bag he checked arrived everywhere in Europe, but it was missing when his WOW Air flight landed in Newark. So the bag, so it says here that bags are mishandled more than 4,600 times a day, according to statistics provided by the US Department of Transportation. So he immediately filed a report with WOW Air 5 days later at WOW's headquarters in Iceland. They sent him an email informing him his duffel bag was located and it will be sent to him via FedEx. So he was rather happy at this because that's exactly what he wanted, his bag back. But then a large oblong box arrived at his doorstep. It was about 7 feet long and bigger than his own body, he explained, and there was no way that this was his duffel bag. The label indicated the long skinny box had been shipped from WOW Air at Newark Airport. And only it's not my luggage, he said. It's a gigantic car part from Toyota Motors. Petrano contacted WOW Air and discovered that after they'd found his lost luggage in Newark, they lost it again. This is when everything sort of snowballed out of control, he said. So he returned the box and kept on at WOW Air about his bag's whereabouts. He emailed them every 2 or 3 days but received no response. He said that he kept a tally of the days WOW Air was silent and he stopped counting at 50. Finally, he sent his photos to this particular claims company, and they wanted to know how he could be compensated and how WOW Air could confuse a 7-foot-long car part for a small duffel bag. In a statement, a spokesperson said that somehow there was a mix-up and his bag got the same tracking number as the car part he received. Petrano's bag was then declared officially missing. WOW offered him $1,531. Wow. That's quite a lot of money for a bag, blimey. So the amount that was offered to him, it was offered to him under the Montreal Convention, an international agreement that governs lost luggage claims.
I think it governs a little bit more than that.
As for why it took WOW Air more than 90 days to pay, the spokesperson said, "We have for some time now tried to contact or connect with our handling agents and contacts at FedEx about this matter with limited success, which explains the delay of this matter's resolution." So to be certain, he never got his bag back, but he got quite a substantial payout, really.
And a random car part.
And he got a car part for a Toyota car. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's
the car part was probably worth more than his duffel bag.
I wonder if he had a Toyota.
It would have been handy if he had.
Absolutely.
But I've never had. All the years I've been travelling anywhere, I've never had a piece of luggage lost or anything, so I can't.
No.
Pip has. Pip has.
Yes. He did finally get his back, though. So
hi everyone.
Oh,
oh no!
There again.
Oh,
bless him.
Yes.
You just popped in there. to say
Indeed.
hello.
Anyway, moving on. On the independent.ie website, this is story number 2, so you all know what this is going to be.
Oh.
And it is. Now, I don't know quite why he's done it in this order and giving me a story which has got a video in it that he wants me
you
to
don't want
play.
to play the video?
I don't know.
No.
Okay, all right. Anyway, watch. Well, let's not watch. Ryanair customer reduces airline worker to tears with aggressive rant. Oh, is it one of those? Has it got the bleep machine's going to need some? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Good idea. A video has emerged showing the moment a Ryanair customer reduced a member of staff to tears after hurling a barrage of insults at her. Well, that, frankly, is disgusting. The customer, who filmed the 4-minute-long exchange himself, is seen berating the check-in clerk because he was asked to pay €50 for failure to produce a printed boarding card, as per the airline's guidelines. The incident occurred at Belgium's Brussels airport. The man behind the video, who remains anonymous, repeatedly asked the clerk to call a supervisor and becomes increasingly aggravated and abusive. Narrating the video, he says, Ryanair check-in lady named something or other, being a complete and total something or other. What are you being something? Are you calling your supervisor? Are you calling your security? How are we going to deal with this? He accuses her of trying to obstruct him and says that she has a bad attitude before mocking her distressed reaction. As the clerk becomes visibly more upset and uncomfortable, a fellow passenger steps in and tells the man to stop harassing her. Well done him. The customer becomes increasingly agitated, telling the other passenger to mind his business and referring to him as Baldy. Wow, he seems, he seems really nice, doesn't he? Baldy, out of shape and donut eating, before telling him to sit down and rest his belly. He seems really nice. Airport management arrived at the scene to defuse the situation. Our handling agent at Brussels Airport, Aviation partner, is looking into this matter. We will not tolerate unruly or disruptive behaviour at any time, a spokesman for Ryanair said. A later statement from Aviation partner said that the passenger has since been reported to the police. A passenger who had failed to check in online, which is clearly marked as required, became disruptive during the boarding of his flight from Brussels to Berlin and refused to pay the airport check-in fee due, distracting the gate agent from her duties and disturbing other passengers. The flight departed on time. The passenger in question did not travel and has since been reported to local police. And I jolly well hope that, to be perfectly frank, he loses the right to fly with any low-cost airline ever again, frankly, because that is disgusting behaviour.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, no matter what airline you fly with, no matter whether you're an experienced traveller, whether it's your first time travelling, you need to get a little bit savvy about what the airline's terms are going to be when you or before you buy the ticket. Doesn't matter who you're flying with; they all have very slightly different policies, and if you don't adhere to those policies, you are going to get charged. You're going to get...
Well, quite right.
I mean, you're going to get penalised.
But everybody knows
to how
that you
the
have,
airline sees fit.
Everybody knows that you have to have checked in online before you go. I mean, it's only really the transatlantic people where you can do that still at the airport.
Even at that.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Air. But I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
It is made very clear on the websites when you book your tickets. There's huge banners and stuff that come up saying that you've got to print this out or bring this with you and stuff like that. So really, there's
absolutely no excuse whatsoever. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting, isn't it? Any comments, guys, in the land of Skype? Matty, anything to say?
Well, to be fair, I've never travelled on any low-cost airlines, but like if Carlos says, if it's plastered all over the website...
Hang on a minute, you don't get away with that. What?
No. We always travel sort of with Thompson, to be fair. We're going on Thompson Dreamliner as well in next week, which I'm looking forward to. But, yeah, if it's plastered all over the website, this is the reason why the low-cost carriers, because they've not got the facilities to have the check-ins and what have you. So people get irate because I think they're trying to protect themselves from... They know they've done wrong. They're a little bit embarrassed, and the way they react is just try and... berate the people, which is wrong.
But it's completely wrong. I mean, that poor, the person is just trying to do their job. I mean, to then decide that you're going to make it so damn personal is just, I don't know. I do worry about our society sometimes where people still think that that's an okay way to behave. I mean, it just makes me so cross.
No, I totally agree. I mean, you never know what effect that's going to have on that person. That person could go home and you never come back to work again. It's just not fair. Like you say, they're turning up to do a job. They're trying their best to help the majority of the public, which I'm sure are fine. And you get these odd people that just sort of ruin it for everybody.
Indeed, agreed. Anything to add to that, Mila?
Well, I was just going to say that usually when you book a ticket nowadays, you get like emails and text messages and all those things telling you what you need to do, and if you're unsure, there are telephone numbers you can call. And so I don't think it's really a valid argument anymore to not know what you're supposed to do when you go to the airport.
No, completely agree.
Well, I mean, even aside from airport behaviour and sort of doing things the airline's way, it's just not acceptable behaviour in any point in society.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Absolutely disgusting.
I hope Mariana's okay, because she's just disappeared out of the chat room after saying the words earthquake.
What? Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Fingers crossed then, everyone.
Yeah, she's put be right back. I hope if you're still there, Mariana, I hope you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right, so we'll move on to the keep your eyes on the chat room, guys and girls.
Yeah, please.
Move on to the next story, Owen, which is yours.
So the next story is from comonews.com, and this says, passengers evacuated after smoke fills cabin of Air Canada flight at SeaTac, Washington. An Air Canada flight was evacuated at SeaTac Airport on Thursday morning after smoke filled the cabin of the plane, officials and witnesses said. The incident closed down a SeaTac runway for about an hour. The flight, which originated at Calgary, Alberta, began normally enough, passengers told Como News, but midway through the flight, smoke began to appear in the cabin and then got thicker. Crew members checked the overhead bins but could not find the source of the smoke. The aircraft landed safely and there were no injuries, but some passengers said the incident made them nervous. I can imagine so. I wanted the hell off that plane quickly, said one passenger, Rob Houta. It was very smoky. Another passenger, Chloe Ann, said you could hear people say it's really smoky in here, and then it got worse. As soon as the plane landed, fire trucks responded and the passengers were evacuated onto the tarmac. But no one panicked and the evacuation was orderly, passengers said. Buses eventually were sent to pick up passengers and take them to the terminal. Many of the passengers on the flight were headed to Seattle to watch the Toronto Blue Jays play the Mariners at a Safeco Field. Yeah. Somebody from Canada might be able to correct me on that.
Liz might know that one.
Yeah. SeaTac Airport spokesman Perry Cooper said officials are investigating the cause of the smoke. So
this was a small regional prop, I should say, wasn't it? This it was the Air Canada Express. I think it was at this. It doesn't say the aircraft it was here. I think looking by the pictures, it's looks like a Dash 8 or something like that. Doesn't it? On ATR.
Yeah, more Dash 8 sort of.
Yeah. Oh, that's me. Sorry, battery low. Yeah, I think it's a Dash 8 of some. I'm pretty sure it's a Dash 8 on the pictures there. There are some pictures on the website, but smoke is never a good thing to have on board.
No, definitely not. Under any circumstances, it's not the way forward.
That being said, there are always procedures in place to deal with everything like that you have on board. So
I mean, I mean, obviously, I put the picture up there, and everybody here, like on the show here, has got the pictures in front of them. I mean, any clues or ideas as to the potential source of this smoke? I mean,
well, I mean, if the cabin crew were looking towards the hat bins, it might have been coming from overhead. And I know in a lot of aircraft, the air conditioning, the main air conditioning comes from overhead, so just above the hat bins.
So the picture that's on the screen there, that definitely shows a smoky cabin anyway. But
yeah, absolutely agreed.
Always worrying, but. Obviously, that was all had
but,
a good
outcome. Yeah.
So the next story is for you, Mr. Fab.
Yep. Okay, this list is from the Chicago Tribune, and it says United Airlines is barring fewer people from boarding its planes following lingering public uproar over the carrier's handling of a passenger who refused to give up his seat on a flight in April. The Chicago-based airlines involuntarily denied boardings, which can occur when not enough passengers on an overbooked flight volunteer to be bumped, were down 79% over the year in May, according to Wednesday's news release. I've got an advert popped up.
Oh, no.
Dr. David Dow of Elizabethtown was one of the 4 passengers on an April 9th flight bound for Louisville, from O'Hare International Airport, picked to give up his seat to make way for airline employees. Dow refused and was dragged off the flight and bloodied along the way by Chicago Aviation Department officers. Videos of his forced removal from the plane went viral, and the public outcry that followed pressurised United to act. CEO Oscar Munoz issued multiple apologies, and the carrier promised to reduce overbookings and offer as much as $10,000 to customers who gave up their seats on oversold flights. The reduction in involuntary bump passengers is a direct result of the initiative we rolled out in April to be more customer-focused, United spokeswoman Megan McCarthy said. For many passengers, the April incident was a stark reminder that they are not guaranteed a seat they pay for, bringing to light the industry practices dealing with oversold flights. Dow suffered a broken nose, sinus injuries, concussion, and according to his attorney, reached settlement with the airline by the end of April. His attorneys also said he would not sue the city, though 3 officers from the aviation department were placed on administrative leave after the incident. Speaking at a Dutch Bank International Summit in Chicago on Wednesday, United Airlines President Scott Kirby called the April passenger dragging incident a setback, but said customer satisfaction with the airline is headed in the right direction. While our incident in April was unfortunate, disappointing, and was a setback, United Airlines is running the best airline in the country today, Kirby said. That one incident was not representative of who we are and the thousands of times every day that our employees are going above and beyond to take care of our customers. An industry veteran who previously held leadership positions at American Airlines, America West Airlines, and US Airways, Kirby joined United in August in the newly created role of president, according to Munoz. In April, United scored the lowest of any legacy airline in the industry's annual American Customer Satisfaction Index survey, which was conducted before the passenger dragging incident. Taking the 30,000-foot view, Kirby said United had nonetheless made progress with customer satisfaction in recent years despite the high-profile setback. While they were worried about the Dr. Dow incident, they feel really good, particularly on frequent travelling customers, they can tell the difference at United, Kirby said, and we feel great about where we are today and the trajectory that we're heading to continue on. So even after that April incident, is a minor setback they're calling it.
I don't think... I mean, you can call it a lot of things, but I'm not really sure that you can call it a minor setback. And let's be honest, anybody who's listened to APG, especially a lot of the Pittsburgh coverage, will be very aware that there is a very frequent flyer who uses that airline an awful lot, who had surprisingly large amount of stories to share with us about various experiences whilst he was flying, one of which involved his arrival in Pittsburgh. So
there is actually on that story though, there's the little list there, a little chart of the voluntary removals from US flights in 2016, but the worst one's actually Delta.
Yeah, but I mean, is that possibly because they've got the
But it says voluntary removals though, so that's like, would you mind coming off this flight? Yeah, that's fine.
But what I'm saying about the Hawaiian is down there at the bottom.
Yeah. Hawaiian's the best airline.
But do they not have significantly less flights than Delta do?
Yeah,
good point.
That is always a point with a lot of these figures and stats.
Yeah,
and stuff,
it's probably not the fairest comparison.
Indeed.
There we go.
Anyway, yes, on to the next story then. Mila, this one is for you.
Oh, this is a bit.
And this is something that, to be frank, you've got to look forward to.
And I don't think you should put the pictures of this story on the live feed, Matt. Yeah.
Oh, really?
No. If you scroll down, you'll see why.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, carry on, Mila.
Okay. Hang on. Yeah.
Okay. This is from the HinkleyTimes.net, and the title is "Airline Hits Back at Hen Party Kicked Off Flight." The airline which kicked members of a hen party off East Midlands Airport flight to Mallorca has hit back after the Bride-to-be questioned its actions. Jet2 claimed the 18-strong group used colourful language, in quotation marks, and that one of them had pulled her top off in the departure lounge.
Oh boy. See, these flights are never occurring when I'm in the terminal building. It's just not fair.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, to be fair, I haven't had too bad experiences with anything in the airport terminal.
Anyway, carry on, Mila.
Okay, 6 members of the group were ordered to leave the flight before it took off after flight attendants spotted they were wearing T-shirts bearing the slogan, "Bitches on tour."
Do you know what, that doesn't. Somehow, when you say that, Mila, it doesn't sound anywhere near as bad as what it should actually sound like. That's very nice. I like it. Well done. Yes. Well, I mean, as it's been said out loud now, then.
Anyway, carry on, Mila.
Yeah, we'll put the picture up.
Right.
There you go. Yeah.
So, Emma Green, 35, had previously said, "We did not deserve to be treated like we did, but the word bitch is a pretty mild curse as far as they go anyway. I hardly think the T-shirts were that offensive in the first place." So she tends to disagree.
Well.
Jet2 has defended its decision in a long statement on its website. It was issued after Sir Richard Branson offered to fly the 18 women to Las Vegas on his Virgin Atlantic airline.
Oh, did he? Right.
Yes. The statement said, "We believe that the language displayed last week on the Hen's Party T-shirts, coupled with their rowdy behavior, was unacceptable for a family-friendly airline. During half-term, we have many children flying with us." Detailing the group's behavior, the airline said the trouble began at check-in when the group were asked not to display the slogans on their T-shirts. The statement said this led to repeated protests, inappropriate and often colorful language, and one individual even ripping her top off in front of the other bemused customers, while others in the group cheered. The group eventually complied and the aircraft prepared to depart for Mallorca. Sadly, hopes for a trouble-free flight were premature, as once in the cabin, 6 of the group again decided to ignore the warnings, revealing the offensive wording in front of an aircraft full of families and children. Their repeated failure to adhere to promises they had previously agreed to and their continued disruptive behavior led the crew to become concerned as how things might develop once the aircraft was airborne.
I mean,
That's it.
we're making light of the story, but of course, the one thing you have to bear in mind is, whilst it's all a bit light and funny for us,
Jet2.
of course. Well, no, it's not even that. It's just that it is, it is half term. Therefore, there are families and small children all getting on that aeroplane to fly on holiday, and nobody wants to spoil anybody's fun. But there was no reason why they couldn't have just put like a jumper on or something just to cover up the T-shirt for the purposes of the flight, so that these poor parents aren't having tried to explain what on earth is on these T-shirts.
Yeah, beaches on tour. I mean, there's loads of beaches and stuff. So, okay.
Beaches.
But you're saying, and you have. I imagine you have.
I've never had something like that on. I mean, dressed inappropriately. Yeah, definitely dressed inappropriately. I've had a few of those on board.
Well, that's just a standard flight to Ibiza, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Family to Mallorca, Las Palmas, you name it.
Yeah, absolutely. Beachwear, everyone. Beachwear.
Not exactly the most appropriate, but there you go. No, I've never really had anything like that in the terminal, but definitely in flight, people can start to get pretty rowdy.
But is that just because of the alcohol they're drinking?
Probably the alcohol they have drunk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the worst T-shirt that I've seen on for a hen or a stag party or anything like that. But
what I think what you've got to remember is if they're causing trouble in the terminal, if they're causing trouble during boarding, what's it going to be like in the cabin once the doors are closed? You've now got 200 people in this aircraft, and they're stuck there for best part of 2.5 hours. At altitude, where physiologically you deal with alcohol a lot differently, it's potential to snowball out of control.
Just reading what Lane Street has put in the chat room to go along with the T-shirt.
Right, I don't know if I dare look. Frankly, is it?
It's a politically correct version of what's written on the girl's T-shirt, which is female dogs on tour.
Somehow very appropriate.
A bit better.
Yeah, absolutely, much more friendly.
No. So moving on to the next story.
Okay, yes,
this
please.
one is this one's a bit of a worry. I've heard a few stories about this on a few of the other shows. and it's not something definitely something I don't agree should ever happen, along with pilotless aircraft as well. So this one's on the Manchester Evening News.co.uk website. The headline: Manchester Airport could operate without an air traffic control tower in the future.
Oh, blimey.
So the airport could follow London City Airport, which is set to become the first UK airport to install a digital tower. Manchester Airport could operate without an air traffic control tower in the future, with planes monitored via cameras from miles away. Rad Taylor, head of airfield operations at Manchester, has said the hub could follow London City Airport, which is set to become the first UK airport to install a digital tower. In London, it means controllers who have until now directed planes from a tower by the airfield will instead work remotely from Hampshire by watching live footage from video cameras. Mr. Taylor added, it's absolutely a possibility which we will do this. Technology is changing and improving all the time, and we are continually looking at new ways of managing our operations and improving the passenger experience. He said that the Manchester Air Control Tower was kitted out with some of the latest technology, but that would evolve. He added, it's very possible in the years ahead we might be doing air traffic control remotely with video cameras. At the present time there is no intention to change, but this is something we may consider. Mr. Taylor also spoke to the MEN about growing issue of drones on flight paths, managing growing numbers of passengers, security and the upcoming scheme to build a super terminal. Over the last year, there have been 8 drone sightings within 12 miles of Manchester Airport, in the context of there having been just one in the previous year. There have also been a number of near misses reported across the country. Describing drones as an astonishing piece of tech, he said that they have a positive applications, but urged users to follow the rules about online. So this is, I mean, pilotless aircraft is just ridiculous. In my view, I mean, you know, that we'll leave that for the drones and UAVs, but to have a air traffic control tower with actually no one in there, or not have a tower at all, I just think it's a bit silly personally. But you know,
well, I mean, they are still being monitored. I mean, it's not like that. You know, it's suddenly on like autopilot.
But the thing that I just find a bit silly is the fact if you've got a control tower like at Heathrow, when we visited Heathrow, there was 6 guys in there and go, or 6, you know.
No, it was sort of 4 operating with a supervisor, wasn't it? I think, yeah. I was actually quite surprised at how little staff there was. But
you've got those people.
Bearing in mind how busy those 2 runways are.
But you know, you've always got to you've got to have someone who's going to be monitoring camera feeds and stuff. If there's no one in the tower, so
so it begs the question: why are we doing this? Why is this?
You're not saving.
Becoming, we're not saving money on personnel
because you still need someone to look at the cameras.
You also are probably spending a whole lot more money on technology.
The only thing I would say is like maybe we'll sort of throw this to Matty and Mila in a minute, see what they think as well. But I'm just wondering, like, is it maybe actually more? Because you think, I mean, how valuable the land is at London City Airport, whether actually wasting space on that tower when it could be used for something else, when basically cameras and someone else at a remote location with you know, as good a view, because I mean cameras and stuff these days are very very good. You know,
the reports I've seen online have said that they are going to literally use really high definition cameras,
like sort of 4K or above, or 8K or whatever. But it's I mean I can see your concerns, but it's just like that piece of land, that footprint where that tower stands, is so valuable. I mean, they could put something else on that, and
alternatively, you could just put the London City one in the Shard.
Well, there is that. Yes. Yeah, that's true. You could probably see it from there.
Oh yeah, you definitely can.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether you could see well enough to identify aircraft,
possibly not.
I'm just going to give a quick shout out to Greg Sparks, who's watching the show. He's just managed to get his son Felix asleep. So
well done.
I think it's listening to our show that sent him to sleep. So
yeah,
hello,
that is
Greg.
a common problem. That is. We do tend to put people to sleep. It seems.
We're being a productive part of society.
I know.
Yeah, that is the rumour.
But no, I think there should always be, you know, because not only that, they're not only controlling aircraft, but you've got to remember that they're controlling ground movements, aircraft taxiing vehicles and stuff like that. So it's, I just think it's a long way off. It might happen, but it's a long way
Also,
off.
I wonder, is technology reliable enough?
I mean, look what happened with BA.
No, come on. Let's not open that can of worms again, because I don't believe a word of that story, as I said in quite great detail last week. Anyway, Mila, I mean, any thoughts? I mean, how do you feel about like a runway which has got no tower and is all being done remotely? I mean, I suppose they're communicating with you sort of through your radios and stuff. I dare say the pilots will be relatively unaware of any change. I mean, as long as somebody's watching the taxiways and all that. I mean, it's but as you say, I don't know quite how you're going to save money on staff, which is presumably the thinking behind this, unless it is about footfall. I mean, I don't know. How would you, as a soon-to-be newly sort of type-rated, ready-to-rock pilot, I mean, how do you feel about it?
Well, you're right about, radio transmissions and not being able to see the person in the tower anyway, from a pilot's point of view. What I'm more interested in is trying to figure out what the company-based idea behind this would be. Why would this be financially interesting to do it? Because we've seen already that there are some parts, for example, at Schiphol, where controllers are not even based at the airport anymore. And of course, ground and tower are, but other parts of like Schiphol approach, they are based off-site. So that's not relatively new. I'm just wondering, is it smart to remove the tower controllers from there? Because I think you want to get a feel for your airport weather-wise and be in the middle of it and see your aircraft. And,
Of course, I mean, that's true also, because, weather is so localised, isn't it? I mean, it's... somebody who's sort of 50 miles away might not be able to, they might have radar charts and all that kind of thing in front of them, but you can't physically see, that what the radar says might be very different to what actually arrives at you. I mean, I don't know. And
it's definitely it shows differently on a camera, right?
Yeah.
I mean, weather doesn't really show exactly how it looks, or you definitely don't get a feel for. I don't know. Did the Heathrow Tower sway a bit?
No. They did say it sways quite badly, like when it's really windy.
So I mean, it doesn't even feel like a remote location would not feel the same.
No,
unless you have some sort of immersive 3D experience, virtual reality goggles, something like that.
Absolutely. That could be the way forward. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Matty, anything? I mean, how do you feel? Someone who's sort of coming up through the old PPLs and that. I mean, how do you feel about? I suppose you're used to sort of like one guy on the ground, just I mean, your control tower experiences, I suppose, are quite different, apart from what we like to refer to as the expensive burger.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with Mila. To be fair, like at our local bigger airport where I am, Doncaster, the radar controls I think are based at Liverpool. And it's only when you get to the tower on final approach that you speak to somebody who's actually there. But does that really matter? If a camera can see that the runway is clear, can see your plane coming down, they've got the camera feeds there. To me, I don't see it's a big issue. The only issue being if the technology does fail, but I'm sure there will be some redundant backups in place for that.
Yeah.
But in essence, you're going to have a room or a place full of qualified controllers. So if something does happen, there's more controllers there to help you and assist in case of an emergency, rather than the one guy that's with you in the tower. You've got a full room of sort of qualified controllers.
This is a very good point, yeah.
So it's, to me, I don't think it's bothering me that much, to be fair, as long as they can show that the technology works.
Well, I mean, I don't think it bothers me that much. I don't think it's unsafe. I'm just wondering why.
I mean, you assume these days, I mean, usually these decisions are financially based, aren't they? So they're assuming that, this is going to enable them to save themselves some money somehow. But, I mean, I don't know if I like the idea of multiple controllers, like a couple of controllers being responsible for more than one tower. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't think that would happen.
No?
No, I think you've got to be totally sort of committed to that tower and spending the time on shift watching them feeds and just controlling that. I don't think they'll be able to sort of 2 or 3 towers and get themselves muddled up.
I mean, I was in Shannon Air Traffic Control, and even they have a tower controller and a ground controller operating from exactly the same place, and there's not enough traffic in Shannon to warrant that. But they are, because they're transmitting on separate frequencies, there's 2 people two people talking.
But then, other than the maintenance of the actual tower, I mean, I can't see what financial benefit there would necessarily be. Unless, I suppose, in that case, let's you say Shannon as an example, and you've got where you've got one guy who's dealing with ground and one guy who's dealing with like the runway and the actual taking off and landing. Whether that one guy, if he's in a room with lots of other controllers who are all keeping an eye on each other, well, maybe that one person can do both. Maybe I don't know. Again, I don't think I like the sound of that either. But
not too sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, even like Mila said, even a lot of the major airports, you've got approach control done by somewhere remote.
Well,
So I mean, it literally is just the tower. I don't think it's unsafe, but it's just why.
The
indeed.
chat room are having a good old discussion about this at the moment in there. Yeah, so good points being made in the chat room, really.
Well, then,
by
share
most
with
people.
us.
Well, Micah was saying that wouldn't you need to have someone on site who's a trained meteorologist and weather observer and stuff? I suppose for for minimums and stuff, like for weather minimums and stuff like that. It's gonna
But then virtually everyone gets that in very few people actually have a meteorologist. All right, maybe the big airports, but I mean those sort of resources are available, remotely. Accurate meteorological forecasts.
Well, I'd like to add to that Schiphol has a big tower and a smaller tower, and in the smaller tower they have the meteorologists
Right.
that do all the readings on the airport.
Okay.
And they have an entire tower set up with computer screens and all those things. So
Right.
It's a big discussion now,
It
I
is,
think,
yeah.
is to be had. I think
yeah.
that's not the last we'll hear of it.
Definitely
no doubt.
not.
No,
But,
indeed.
I can just imagine a bird having doing a number on one of the cameras. And
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
not going to happen
Yeah.
for a while.
So,
Yeah.
Matt, the next story, it's
Yeah,
a
but-
special one just for you,
Is
as
it?
always.
Right, okay. Yes, this is on the Reuters website. We seem to have lost Matty Fab for some reason.
Matty
so
Fab
we'll
has disappeared.
So we'll just we'll try and dial him up again in a minute, but we'll press on with the story anyway. So Ryanair interested in cooperating with but not buying Alitalia. Ryanair has submitted an expression of interest to administrators trying to sell troubled airline Alitalia, but is interested in cooperating with the business rather than buying it. The Irish low-cost carrier said on Wednesday Alitalia filed in May to be put under special administration for the second time in less than a decade, starting a process that will lead to the loss-making airline being overhauled, sold off or wound up. Administrators said on Tuesday that they'd received 32 expressions of interest before the deadline to submit potential offers expires on Monday, but did not provide any names. We have submitted an expression of interest, a Ryanair spokesman said in an email statement. As previously stated, we are not interested in buying Alitalia. However, we have offered to feed Alitalia's long-haul traffic. 2 weeks ago, Ryanair Chief Executive Michael O'Leary said that he planned to submit an expression of interest in order to participate in the process rather than the purchase of the airline, and that he believed the Italian carrier had a viable future if sensibly restructured. Ryanair said that it wanted to provide short-haul traffic to feed Alitalia's long-haul network and could deploy up to 20 aircraft at 2 weeks' notice this summer if Alitalia cut capacity significantly. The spokesman did not say on what terms Ryanair might provide feeder flights, but it has offered to link up with to other long-haul carriers in recent months on condition Ryanair would not be responsible for any missed connections. Alitalia has refused a similar offer in the past. The Italian government appointed 3 commissioners to assess whether Alitalia can be restructured and has given them 6 months to come up with a plan. Several Italian media said that none of the expressions of interest were for the entire airline, but only certain assets, such as fleet or airport slots. The government has repeatedly said it would prefer to sell the airline in one block, partly to minimise the impact on its 12,500 staff. That's a lot of staff, isn't it? It has ruled out renationalising Alitalia. The commissioners will now examine the submissions to select those that will be given access to Alitalia's data room. Lufthansa CEO Carsten Spohr has said this week the German airline would look at any opportunities that arise in Italy, but it had no plans to buy Alitalia. He added Lufthansa would look at Alitalia planes should they come up for sale. Turkish Airlines denied reports it was interested in Alitalia's assets. Alitalia could not immediately be reached for comment.
It's a shame. Obviously Alitalia is the flag carrier for Italy.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it's a bit like BA going bust as far as we're concerned.
I mean,
It's
we've
awful.
talked. We've had the story, before, haven't we, about Alitalia in having sort of problems and stuff, and looking at the kind of stories and stuff which are on, on their websites and stuff, and all the news stuff and that. They actually filed. Here we go. The airline was permitted by the government of Italy to file for bankruptcy.
Really?
On the May the 2nd this year.
Oh right, well, blimey! So quite recently,
quite
absolutely.
recently. But it's a shame. It's because I think they didn't. Alitalia they got together with
Etihad.
Etihad.
Some of it, yeah.
Etihad had a
bought shares.
yeah,
maybe,
51%. Yeah, 51% share by them, but it's just not worked.
No.
I think it's a shame.
No, it is a shame.
Especially for the jobs as well, because that's the most
12,500, however
Yeah.
you dress it up, is a ridiculously
Not
huge
nice.
number, isn't it?
Especially in some of those lower in the southern regions of Europe, jobs are quite hard to come by.
Agreed.
I mean, even here still, jobs are quite hard to come by.
Yes.
Yeah, especially in aviation.
Well, yeah.
So moving on, the next story is all yours, Owen.
Okay, so this one is from au.be.yahoo.com.
Do you know what? That really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
au.be.yahoo.com. Yeah, that's
There
quite
you
good.
go.
I like that, yeah.
Okay, this is kind of a life-changing travel tip, it says. Cabin crew revealed the drink you should never order. It's sometimes only a beacon of hope getting you through the boredom of a long-haul flight, but flight attendants have recently revealed drinks trolleys might not be as amazing as they seem. It is if there's alcohol on them.
Oh, true, yeah.
According to cabin crew members, there's some beverages in those in the industry hands refuse to drink themselves. Apparently, it's all about the water. Flight attendants will not drink hot water on the plane, one flight attendant told Business Insider. They will not drink plain coffee and they will not drink plain tea. Business Insider reports that one Environmental Protection Agency study in the US found 1 in every 8 planes failed water safety standards. It's something other flight attendants have spoken about too in the past. I personally would not drink the potable water from the aircraft, so the tea, the coffee, I would personally avoid, ex-cabin crew member Adrian 456 revealed on Reddit last year. The water isn't so bad, but how often do you really think those tanks are cleaned? Tank cleaning appears to be the main issue, with the Association of Flight Attendants CWA in the US revealing it's up to the discretion of the airlines how often they test the water. Water on board is regulated under the EPA to ensure drinking water to ensure safe water drinking water on the aircraft. The Association of Flight Attendants CWA pushed for this regulation over 15 years ago. The regulation gives broad discretion to airlines on how often they must test the water and flush the tanks. AFA does not believe that this regulation goes far enough or is sufficiently enforced. Make ours juice, please. Yeah, I'm not too sure I agree with this.
I have to say, a few years back, I had some water on a Delta Airlines 767, and it was minging, and I couldn't drink it because it did taste. Bleh.
But whenever admittedly, now I don't do a great deal of flying, as we know, but I've only ever been supplied water in a bottle.
Yeah.
I've never had it.
Well, no,
but when you're having tea or coffee, it has been boiled. It has been
exactly.
brought up to now. It doesn't have to necessarily boil to actually kill the bugs. It has to be at 72 degrees, 2 or 3 degrees, something like that. And I think I'm right in saying that most airline boilers and everything are usually around about the 80 degree mark. So it's well and truly safe.
Anyway.
Like there's no,
but it's well over the safe mark.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I agree with you.
But not even
agree.
that. I don't think that any airline will give out just normal potable water at room temperature. I think either you get ice or you get hot water. But no, I mean, I'll drink the water straight from the boiler.
Brian's actually saying that a friend that he has who is a flight attendant. He says that his mate would never actually drink the water on board either. So maybe it's that difference between the European carriers and the American carriers. Maybe.
Possibly. I'm not too sure what the regulation is in the EU, but
yeah.
I don't think it's unsafe. Otherwise, I mean, you wouldn't be serving it to have ever many millions of passengers.
I think Lane's got a great idea, actually. I think it should only be alcohol on board. That's fine. That solves the problem.
Actually, I was reading Brian's comment underneath Lane's, actually, that the water tanks on United Airlines flights were last cleaned in the 50s.
Now, look, there's no need for that, is there? Let's play nice.
Mind you,
I mean, if you're worried about it, you can take the bottled water and...
But that was, I mean, on my United flight, that's all I was offered. So unless you had tea or coffee, they brought round. I mean, they were only little sort of stubbies about that big. But you know, it was I was only provided with, bottled water. Now I'm assuming because they did have a seal on them, I presume they were bottled water and not like water
refilled.
But you know, so I'm making maybe a foolish.
Oh, I have visions of them
assumption.
in the loos, filling them up. You know.
Carlos.
Anyway, moving on. Have we got Matty Fab back yet? Oh, Mila.
Mila.
Any views? What about water? No, fancy a glass of water?
Well, I was thinking also that, in Europe it's quite common to drink regular tap water.
Yes.
And that's not everywhere the case, so maybe that's also part why some people wouldn't drink from the airplane.
Actually,
Brian's just said, Matt, they filled your glass from a bottle until they ran out. Oh. Oh, no.
Mila makes a very good point, because there actually was a very big cultural difference between when I was based in Malaga with more Spanish crew who don't tend to drink tap water and being based here in the UK. There was a lot of Spanish crew in Malaga, and a lot of them wouldn't drink the water on board. And they would always buy bottled water before going on the flight. They would never refill their water. Now, water is a lot cheaper over there, I will say that.
Yeah, true.
You know, a litre was, 6 or 7 cents or something crazy.
Oh, no. No. Sorry. Liz, the lovely Liz has just said, remember how ill you were, Matt? Is what she said. Maybe it was all in the water. Maybe it was all in the water.
How many coffees did you have, though?
Oh, about 15.
Oh, right, okay.
So moving on, the next story then, we'll let you take this one, Mila.
All right, this is from Vice.com, and the title reads, Boeing wants to make pilotless airplanes a reality. The aircraft company is looking to test out self-flying technology on a jet as early as 2018. Not too long from now, you might be able to ride to the airport in your driverless Uber, hit up the self-check-in kiosk for your ticket, and hop on a plane that can fly without a pilot. Welcome to the future. According to Reuters, Boeing is working on a way to send self-piloted airplanes up into the stratosphere. On Thursday, the company's Vice President of Product Development, Mike Sennett, said he'll be testing pilotless software in a flight simulator this summer and wants to fly on an airplane in 2018 with some artificial intelligence that makes decisions that pilots would make. The basic building blocks of technology clearly are available, Sennett said during a press briefing. While the prospect might sound terrifying, considering Google and Tesla have faced a few disastrous incidents while fine-tuning their own driverless car technology, most planes fly without the help of pilots every day. According to the Washington Post, aircraft autopilots has become so advanced that the U.S. Department of Transportation has grown increasingly worried today's pilots aren't skilled enough to intervene in the event of an electrical blackout. Most pilots just manually operate the flight for takeoff and landing, USA Today reports. Still, Sennett said that he wants to be sure Boeing's pilotless planes can handle the operations just as well as their human counterparts, especially in the event of an emergency. Just like self-driving cars, self-piloted planes may one day need to be equipped with some kind of program to decide how to navigate a moral dilemma. If it can't transport passengers safely, then we can't go there, Sennett told Reuters. I have no idea how we're going to do that, but we're studying it right now and we're developing those algorithms. If the prospect of flying on an unmanned aircraft still seems daunting in 2035 or whatever, you'll just have to visit our local cyborg pastor and pray for safe travels, because by then, most of the workforce will be replaced by robots anyway.
Well, and that's probably true.
I just think
I don't know.
No, I just think it's bleh. They've been on about this for so long now. Pilotless aircraft, blah blah blah. I just no.
Well, they can do it with trains.
Yeah, but
Hold on now.
in a train, you haven't got 30,000 feet to fall.
Well, let's put it a little bit better. You've got a rail on a train.
Yes.
Mm. You know where it's going.
Yeah.
You know where it's going.
Right,
it's
yes,
going to go
okay,
from A to B,
okay,
not
yeah.
from 37,000 feet to. Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's go back to the story that we had last week about the
Oh yeah, you were here
the
last
cockpit
week.
the cockpit door and the
yes.
was it on Malaysian?
Yes, that's right.
Somewhere in
the
Asia.
pilot was very calm.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. If that happened on a flight with pilotless aircraft, well, I mean, the pilot wouldn't have any indication that there was some sort of distress.
No.
It's very hard to communicate those sort of situations where they differ quite greatly in terms of I don't know, the demands a hijacker might make or something like that. There's a huge amount of variables that I don't think it possibly could be communicated with well enough to make moral decisions.
But you see, I mean, I love my technology. We all know that. I'm obsessed by technology. Carlos has even got a special noise that he plays when I keep going on about technology. There it is. And the thing that I'm left sort of like slightly flabbergasted, thinking, why are we so obsessed with doing away with everything? What's the matter with humans being involved? You know, I mean, why aren't we allowed to have, you know, like just like enjoy having pilots and things? Why do we need to take everything away? Why does everything have to be automated? It just, I don't know. But then, you know, I suppose if Al was here, he would be sort of saying that the aeroplane is more or less sort of flying itself when it's in the air anyway, and things.
Mark Harvey has a good point.
Yeah.
What if you had the event? What if you had the event that you had last week on the show,
which
with
turned
your
out to be
laptop?
heat related? But yes,
what, you know, a pilotless plane having a blue screen of death.
Well, and when we've spoken to pilots before, they had not quite a blue screen of death, but they've had similar things that's required systems to be rebooted mid-flight. You know, I don't know. Any feelings on this, Mila? I mean, other than, you know, don't
Poor
do
Mila,
it.
she's not going
to have a job.
She's now going to become a pilot, and
She'll trying to put her out of work.
She'll walk onto the flight deck of her, you know, her shiny new aircraft, and there'll be a Spectrum Plus 2 there on the seat.
A Spectrum
or a Vic
wow,
20.
You are hardcore showing your age, aren't you?
All right, a Commodore 64.
You are still showing.
I've
your
used
age.
one of those.
Have you?
Yes, I
My
have.
goodness me.
64.
Yeah, it's older than you are.
And
Owen.
I know. Yeah.
and a packet of opal fruits on the dashboard.
Ooh, don't forget the marathon bar. Don't forget the marathon bar.
Well, I mean, it says it right there. I mean, I have no idea how we're going to do that, but we're studying it right now.
Gentlemen, I asked Mila a question, and you, all three of you,
Sorry.
you know,
allow the lovely
ladies
young
must
Mila
always
to
be
talk.
allowed to speak. Shush.
At least I have manners.
Well,
So-
exactly.
Yeah,
Unlike the people in this studio, Mila, you are very right.
Shut up, Matt.
Yeah.
Let her talk.
Oh, how rude.
I was going to bring up the fact that the comparison between self-driving cars and self-flying airplanes isn't really a valid one, because as far as I know, you're only allowed to drive a self-driving car if you have yourself a driver's license and know how to operate the vehicle and know what to do in an emergency. And having a self-flying airplane without a pilot, you know, that just sounds strange. I think there is already a lot of automation going on, but it does require monitoring and a lot of inputs from the pilots, and all the decisions are still made by the pilots. It's just the execution that's been automated. And comparing self-flying airplanes to self-driving cars, I don't think that's really a valid comparison. So.
Very good point, Mila. Very good point. So we're going to leave that one then before it all gets excitable. You know, we all know what the future is, and it's not pilotless aircraft. Yeah. Anyway,
indeed, yes. Moving
on.
Exactly. I want to keep a job.
Yeah, too right.
Exactly.
You tell them.
Poor Mila.
Right, you're going to take the next one then, Carlos?
Right, so the next story on the list then, it's on the travelweekly.co.uk site, and it's a nice story. Headline is Husband and Wife Thomson pilots mark 27th wedding anniversary with flight to Ibiza. Husband and wife pilots Henry and Hayley Brewis marked their 27th wedding anniversary by flying a Thomson Airways Boeing 737 from Stansted to Ibiza. Henry worked with the airline to rearrange timetables so the pair could fly together, surprising unsuspecting Hayley in the cockpit on board the aircraft before takeoff. We spend our anniversary together every year, but a clash in our flying schedules meant we would be apart, he said. During the flight, Henry announced to the passengers that he was sharing the cockpit with a very special co-pilot. The couple, who have two daughters, aged 23 and 17, have together clocked up a total of 31,000 hours. They met at a Norfolk-based flying school when Henry, not far from here, when Henry was Hayley's flying instructor. They married a year later, in June in 1990, after a whirlwind romance. Having qualified as a pilot in 1985, Henry joined Britannia Airways, I remember Britannia, in 1987, which later became Thomson Airways. His older brother, Tom, is also a captain for the airline and joined the same year. The aviation enthusiasts have also created a small runway on the land next to their home outside Bury St Edmunds. Wow,
Blimey, this
just
is
down the road.
Properly local.
Oh, yeah.
For their small
How many
seater.
times have you been past Bury St Edmunds
He's
now,
been
Eoin?
a few times.
Yeah, a few times, yeah.
Absolutely.
So they've got created a small runway next to their home, just outside Bury St Edmunds, for their small four-seater aircraft, which they fly together on their days off. And Matt, you had the picture. Did you have the picture on the screen?
No, I didn't. No,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I got distracted at the top of the story because you said it, and all I've got stuck in my head now is this.
Hello, party people. This is Captain Kim speaking. Welcome aboard Benga Airways. After takeoff,
Come on, you're a DJ. You must.
Oh, we're going to eat pizza.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
So
Sorry.
that's a nice story then. Really.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean,
I suppose you want me to actually put the pictures up now.
It's a nice.
I'll tell you what.
It's definitely a nice way of celebrating your wedding anniversary
is.
when you're actually piloting an aircraft
Definitely.
with your wife, who is a pilot.
Now, I must say, like, while the Logan Air, you were talking about the Logan Air thing. Before I put the other
Were we?
picture up, you were talking about. Yeah, we were, weren't we?
No, we're talking about. You've got the wrong story there, Matt.
Really?
That's the next story.
Is it? Ignore everything I just said.
Very special.
Okay, that'll teach me from getting distracted, won't it?
More editing, huh?
Yeah. No, we'll keep that in.
But that's a nice story. So, moving on to the next story, Matt, which I'm pleased to say is the Logan Air story.
Okay, all right then. Yeah, well, okay. And I can't
Bless him.
pull
It's
it
been a
up.
long day for Matt.
Matt's had far too much sugar. That's,
Yeah, I have had
that's
too
all
much.
it is.
Yeah, I'm officially crashing now, ladies and gentlemen. So, this is on the Aberdeen. So it's the Press and Journal. So it's the Aberdeen Journal's website, and the headline is Logan Air set to fly solo as Scotland's airline. And I'm just going to pop that picture up there, which I was talking about earlier, because I absolutely love
That does look
the
quite
tail
smart.
fin on this particular aircraft. If you're watching, if you're listening on the airplane on the audio version of this show, then take yourself to www.pressandjournal.co.uk and search for Logan Air, because this tail fin is amazing. It's got like sort of tartan on the end of the wing, and it's absolutely.
That's a Saab 340.
Is
that
it? What,
yeah.
the aircraft
The
is?
aircraft, yeah.
Okay.
Saab 340.
Indeed. Anyway, Scotland's airline Logan Air will fly solo again from the 1st of September after nearly a quarter of a century operating under franchise arrangements with other airlines. This will create a national airline for Scotland, headquartered in Scotland. The airline will once again fly under its own name with a livery of black, white and red tartan, introducing a new, uniquely Scottish identity to the skies. Logan Air provides over 1,000 flights each week across 46 routes, offering unrivaled connectivity for Scotland, with operations stretching as far afield as London, Norwich, Manchester, Dublin and Bergen in Norway. It has almost 300 flights each week to and from Glasgow, over 100 flights each week to and from Aberdeen, and is the largest operator at airports throughout the Highlands and Islands, including Inverness, Sunborough, Kirkwall, Stornoway and Benbecula? Something like that.
Benbecula.
Benpeculiar. Or peculiar. Ben is peculiar. Anyway, the Loganair network also includes the world-famous beach landing at Barra and the world's shortest scheduled flight linking the Orkney Islands of Westray and Papa Westray, with flights taking only 2 minutes. Wow. Scotland's airline operated its services under franchise agreements with British Airways from 1993 to 2007 and latterly with Flybe. Loganair's code-share agreements with British Airways will continue, enabling customers to make a single booking for a journey from points throughout the Highlands and Islands to London and onwards to British Airways' worldwide network. Discussions are continuing with Flybe around opportunities to work together in the future. Employing over 600 people, Loganair operates a fleet of 28 aircraft and, alongside its scheduled services, undertakes contract services for Royal Mail and oil and gas companies. Loganair is actively pursuing its ambitions to further widen both its contract and scheduled service operations. Jonathan Hinkles, who is Loganair's managing director, said, "This is a major milestone in our 54-year history. Although Loganair has flown as a franchise carrier for larger airlines over the last 24 years, there is a huge level of recognition of and affinity with the Loganair name throughout Scotland and beyond. We believe the time is right for Scotland's airline to now spread its wings once again and are delighted to be introducing a new, bold corporate identity to mark our break from the past and herald our arrival on the 1st of September. We will continue to provide the highest standards of safety, punctuality and customer service synonymous with the Loganair name, and we remain mindful of our responsibility in operating services on lifeline routes in the Highland and Islands with onward connectivity throughout Scotland and beyond. We operate more flights in Scotland than every other airline put together, and I am wholly confident that this new chapter for Loganair will be warmly welcomed by both our customers and our dedicated team of professional employees. Loganair now has its own reservation system, taking bookings for flights from the 1st of September via its website, www.loganair, that's LOGANAIR.co.uk. Flights prior to the 1st of September are bookable via www.flybe.com.
So Loganair, founded in 1962, and the picture you had on there a second ago, Matt, was the Saab 340. That's that was one of the cargo ones they've got. They've got 4 Saab 340s that they use for cargo. They also operate a lot of flights for Flybe, actually, which are painted in the Flybe colours, but they're actually operated by Loganair. But they've got a kind of a mixed fleet, Britain, Northern Islander. They've got a couple of de Havilland Canada DH6s, Dornier 328s. They've got
noisy.
the Saab 340s, and they've also got a Saab 2000 as well. And they've got a mixed fleet of all prop aircraft. But yeah, I've seen these guys in and out of Norwich. Actually, they do fly out of Norwich. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen Flybe ones. I don't recall ever seeing Loganair, but then if they've been
operated, I think they've got the. If you look at their fleet history, their fleet list, some of their aircraft are painted in the Flybe livery. Okay, but it's a Loganair aircraft.
Okay, no, okay, cool.
Yeah. I think Nicholas Sturgeon will be quite pleased with a new, uniquely Scottish identity in the skies.
Now, you see what you did there, Owen, is you mentioned the hideous word that is politics. And we don't want to talk about politics today, because the UK is experiencing what I can only describe as, well, I don't really know how to describe it.
Snorefest.
What?
Snorefest.
That's not the word I was going to go for. I'm a bit concerned about our future, but anyway, there we are.
So the last story.
Bring on Brexit, everyone! What can go wrong?
The last story is a very clean story.
Who?
It is actually
Indeed. Who's going to take this?
I mean, obviously we've got Mila there.
I
think we should let Mila do the last story.
Yeah.
Come on, Mila.
Let me see then. It's from www.logupdateafrica. Logistics Update Africa, and it reads: Emirates showcases eco-friendly aircraft cleaning technique.
Ooh.
Emirates has showcased an environmentally friendly aircraft cleaning technique that has enabled the airline to save millions of liters of water every year. Emirates use the aircraft dry wash technique to clean its aircraft. As indicated by the name, little or no water is involved in cleaning the aircraft, which is in contrast to controversial methods of aircraft cleaning, which typically use thousands of liters of water per wash. During the course of every flight, an aircraft accumulates dust and grime on its external surface. The dirt that accumulates on the aircraft surface increases the fuel it consumes by making the aircraft heavier and less aerodynamic. Traditionally, aircraft are cleaned by using high pressurized water between 4 to 5 times every year. However, on average, this technique uses more than 11,300 liters of water to clean one Airbus A380 aircraft and more than 9,500 liters of water to clean a Boeing 777 aircraft every time. Since early 2016, Emirates has been using an aircraft dry wash technique to clean its fleet of over 250 aircraft. In this technique, the liquid cleaning product is first applied manually to the entire external surface of the aircraft. Clean microfiber fabric is then used to remove the cleaning product, which has dried to a film, removing the dirt along with it and leaving the aircraft clean and polished. The aircraft is then left with a fine protective film, allowing the painted surface to retain a longer gloss and shine. It takes a crew of 15 staff about 12 hours to clean an A380 and about 9 hours to clean a Boeing 777 aircraft. Emirates saves over 11 million liters of water every year. Additionally, the waterless aircraft wash technique ensures that the aircraft remains cleaner for a longer period of time, thereby reducing the number of times the aircraft has to be washed to about 3 times a year, and also reducing the aircraft's fuel consumption because of less accumulation of dirt.
Now that is one job
that is
I would
very-
love.
Yeah. Maybe that should be your new job,
Maybe
Carlos.
that should be.
Cleaning.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what, right?
I'd do it for minimum
Yeah,
wage.
I could say Carlos cleaned my car once, and I've it's never been so clean. It was
Oh,
frightening.
really?
Oh my
I
goodness!
love
man.
cleaning
this
cars.
man has a talent for valeting.
love
Seriously, if anyone needs their car cleaning, the man sat to my right here is the Don. Frankly, when it comes to stuff like that.
I do like cleaning vehicles, but
Yeah,
no, I
absolutely.
mean that is pretty good. I mean, 15 staff take 12 hours to clean an A380 all the way outside.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you think they just take a really long time because they're like you? They enjoy.
They
want to get paid more.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you can imagine
absolutely.
the advert in the paper, you know, we're calling all av geeks. We need 15 people to
clean an
clean an
aeroplane.
A380.
Yeah, and they'll have 100 turn up because
yeah.
they're, it's like the AV
I mean,
geeks.
bear in
I want to
mind-
get that close to an aircraft.
Bear
Yeah.
in mind, Emirates have got, you know, a lot of A350s in their fleet.
A380s, no?
A380s, sorry, A380s, and they've also got a lot of 777s as well. And it would be a full-time job. I think a
Brian
full-time-
has suggested Teflon-coated planes.
Yeah.
Non-stick planes.
Or you
That'll
could,
work.
or you could have an aircraft that is the colour of dirt anyway.
Yeah, no, because that'll just
That
look
still
horrible.
leaves the
yeah.
aerodynamic
But
question.
isn't that what? Yeah, isn't that what like Captain Al likes to refer to as military grey? You know. But there we go.
Apparently, Lane Street's Subaru could do with a wash. Yeah,
Okay,
just, pop
right.
around
Yeah, just
tomorrow.
pop round Lane. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem at all. I can seriously recommend his services.
Mariana has said that she'll pay for my round trip flight if I go around and detail her truck. That's
Wow.
absolutely
Yeah, do
fine.
that. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
That
yeah, no,
is
you'll be well up for that.
absolutely
Yeah,
fine.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Careful what you say.
Apparently, Brian Coleman says in the chat room that Southwest used to have their planes painted
Nice.
in
nice.
the
Military
colour of
grey, the
dirt.
colour of dirt. Excellent. That's what we like. Yeah. Now I'm imagining Carlos showing up with a bucket of water and a squeegee to clean an A380. Yes, Masha, I think you're right.
Oh, I'd give it a go.
No, well,
it's,
Emirates now have 95 A380s in service, and they've got another 50 odd on order. They've got 131 777s and another 20 of those on order, and options for lots more. They've got orders for the 777-8, 777-9, and they've also got their cargo fleet as well.
Wow.
They've got a fairly large fleet.
You'd be
to
working a
fair.
while,
Yeah.
Carlos.
Indeed.
We've got
Absolutely.
an update from Matty Fab. Obviously, for those of you who joined us at the start of the show, will notice that Matty Fab's disappeared. Unfortunately, Mr. Fab had a power cut midway through the news segment there, and unfortunately, the power has yet to return. So he's got no internet. So that's where we bring the commercial news segment of the show to a close. We haven't got any segment from Pip this week. And we're also
he's currently in a restaurant.
He's in a restaurant
eating
somewhere,
food
eating
just for
food.
change. Yeah,
in the pudding club.
That's all pilots ever
apparently.
seem to do is eat. Why are they not the sizes of houses?
I don't know why Pip is not here.
No,
Hi
okay. What do you?
everyone, it's Pip here, but not Pilot Pip this week. I'm taking.
Oh no, he's not here. He's definitely not here.
Okay.
But
He's foodie, Pip.
so
Indeed.
we're going to skip the military this week because we have obviously got our guest here with us on the show, Mila, because you've got loads of interesting information to give us about what's going on in your piloting life.
And ladies and gents, we'll be right back with that just after these messages.
Find this and other great shows at the Aviation Media Network.
thevoicesinyourhead.com.
The Plain Talking UK podcast is a voluntary project that aims to keep you informed with the latest aviation-related stories from newswires across the globe.
Producing our content does cost money though. If you enjoy our show, why not help us keep on the air by making a donation towards the server and website hosting fees through PayPal. Any contributions would be greatly appreciated.
Are you an Amazon user? If so, why not do your shopping through the link on our website? There's no cost to yourself, and Amazon pay us a small referral fee on qualifying purchases.
To find out more about the show and to meet the team, take yourself to our website www.plaintalkinguk.com.
Or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/plaintalkinguk, on Twitter via @plaintalkinguk, or get in touch via email on podcast@plaintalkinguk.com. Thanks for listening.
Flybe 5823, Trent Dane for 23 Manchester, Wizz Air 6X, climb flight level 210, direct to Bretlands Park. United 123, maintain 280 knots. London 2TME, turn right onto Bravo, link, 21 join Alpha, hold at Mora, Speedbird 472, LOC/DME, approach runway 27 left, follow the green stand 544.
That's enough air traffic control for today, Nat. Bedtime.
Aviation media has long been the domain of the newspapers and magazines.
Well, not anymore. I'm Steve Vischer.
And I'm Grant McCarran, and we're bringing aviation right into your radio.
Yes, we're making aviation cool and interesting for everyone.
Hang on, aviation's always been cool. Check this out.
How cool is this?
Grant, turn that down. Here at Plane Crazy Down Under, we've got pilots, engineers, air traffic controllers, industry leaders, even politicians dropping by to talk to us about the amazing world of aviation right here in Australia and occasionally in New Zealand as well.
Wow, that's cooler than I thought, mate.
Find us at planecrazydownunder.com, on iTunes, or lurking about on other people's podcasts just like this one.
We've got crazy accents and lots of great aviation content.
And we promise not to talk about the cricket.
No, never. Not the cricket. Quack, 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 quack. What is cricket anyhow?
Something we win a lot. Oh, there
Oh!
So, Mila, tell us a bit about what you've been doing the last few months then.
Yes, well, what have I been doing? I'm distracted by all those messages.
Obviously, lots of training.
Yes, I've been... actually, one of my friends was preparing for a grading, and she picked up her training by flying very regularly and training a lot, and we kind of joined up in that, so that I also did a lot of training. And I think it's 3 weeks back now, I got a call from an airline saying they wanted to invite me to do a job interview if I was available the week after. So they were giving me 9 days exactly to prepare.
Wow.
Yeah, that was rather short notice. Or, well, actually, in this case, it's the way they do it. So I flew over to Dublin on a Wednesday afternoon, and then I had my job interview, my grading, my assessment on Thursday. And a few days later, I got an email saying that congratulations, you're hired.
Oh,
So-
Wow.
Well
Yeah.
done.
I mean, we've all been lucky enough that we've been following your sort of story, if you like, and I mean, I can only imagine how, because I'm sure I speak for everyone in the studio. We know that you have worked so hard to get to this point, and I mean, you must just be so excited to have sort of almost so close to literally living the dream.
Exactly, yes. And I've had so many wonderful responses. I have had colleagues who brought me flowers, who were so happy for me, and it's just been so nice. Everybody's response has been wonderful, and I've been working very hard for it, and it does pay off. So now it feels like I really did earn it. And
I mean, it must almost feel so surreal, mustn't it? I mean, just like you like literally pinching yourself, thinking, "It has this is this really happening?" It's just so cool.
yes, and my email box is overflowing with emails of things that I need to send in, and resumes and paperwork, and there's a lot of paperwork. I've spent the past week doing nothing but paperwork, and I even cut back on my hours at work so I could have enough time to, figure out all the paperwork and do all the things and arrange everything and start up a company and find housing and plan things and transfer my licenses and my medical and.
So what was that initial interview like, Mila, that you had? When you went across to Dublin for the interview.
Okay, so the assessment day has 3 parts. You fly in the simulator. That's the first thing you do. Then you have a theoretical assessment, or like a job interview, like a theoretical interview, where they just ask you questions about flying and the airplane and how things work. And then there's the HR interview, where they ask you, why do you want to work for this company? What have you been doing in the past? Training? What kind of a person are you? And it takes up the entire day, basically. I was lucky enough to be the first one to go into the simulator that day, and also one of the first few to have my theoretical interview and my HR interview. So I already finished all the 3 aspects before lunch, which was nice. But you don't just leave after you're done. You just stick around because there's 7 other people there with you, and you kind of just hang out the entire day and wish everybody good luck. And when they come back from the simulator, you share stories about what happened and how things went. So basically, you spend the entire day there, and we made a WhatsApp group with the people who were there, and kept in touch and rooted for each other, and so you just spend an entire day together, and it's draining. At the end of the day, you're just done.
I bet you're absolutely. Well, I mean, it's safe to say we've got some amazing, some great messages in the chat. Everybody wishing you, you've done so well, and lots of congratulations. Quite rightly, deserved. Sort of coming in. Actually, Masha's asked a great question. She's saying, how long will the training take? When will you start flying actual passengers?
Well, first you get 1 week of training. I started on July 3rd, so that's in 3 weeks. Wow. You get 1 week of training in England, where you do a firefighting course, and you go down the slides and some other things.
Oh, it sounds like great fun. Sorry. Yay, slides.
I think there's also 3 exams, but I'm not sure what they're on.
Yeah, no, well, I'll tell you what, you do the exams, I'll do the slides. That's fine.
Exactly. So you spend 1 week there, and then I think it's a month of theoretical training, CBT training. And for me, that's in Amsterdam. I do my type rating course in Amsterdam. And you can choose between England and Amsterdam. And then after that, you go into the simulator, and you have I think it's 4 or 5 weeks of simulator training, and then also there's an exam, and you have to do some actual landings in an empty aircraft.
Wow.
And then you get linked up with a line training captain who's going to teach you, the basics of the operation, and you'll have a safety pilot there with you. And then after, you show that you're competent and you've been doing well, they sign you off. And then you're just a regular first officer, and you're employed by the by the contracting company.
Wow.
So basically, you're so good, Mila, you'll be flying in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, hell.
Next week, preferably.
Hell yeah.
Mash has asked.
So there's quite a while that you're still training, and you really start out as a student, and then after a month or 3, you just gradually make your way into the company. And
Mash has asked another question, actually, Mila. Do you get any say on where you will be based?
they ask for your top 3 bases. So you can, tell them I would like to be stationed there, there, and there, but they cannot give you any guarantee of whether you'll be placed there or where they're going to put you.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer it to be a country where I speak the language.
Mm-hmm. I think that's
just,
understandable.
In case if you need to find housing, or if you ever need to visit a doctor or something, then that's just a lot more easier than being somewhere where they have nice beaches, but you don't know how to communicate with people.
Oh, I don't know. Malaga was a great 6 months. I have no Spanish whatsoever.
You're the exception. No.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mike has asked a question, Mila. Mike has asked, do they provide you with housing during your stay when you're doing these sort of courses and stuff?
No, they give you a very nice list with accommodations where you could, get in contact with people to find a place to stay. And the costs during the training are deductible, but they don't provide you with housing or with anything else.
It's not a cheap thing, this piloting thing, is it?
No,
hey?
no, but you already know that. To be fair,
I know.
Absolutely.
No, it sounds like a lot of fun, Milo. It's obviously a long process, but hopefully you'll have fun on the way.
And I'm speaking for, I'm sure, everyone that listens to the show, obviously, who's been following your progress over many years, as I say, and I'm sure I'm speaking for everyone here in the studio and in the chat room, and who listens to the show every single week, all like nearly 10,000 of them now. It's just, we are so proud of you and so excited, and we can't wait to hear all about it. We really can't.
Let's give a round of applause. Come on.
Yeah.
Here. I'll drink to that.
Oh,
Cheers.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
There you go. Well done. We're really pleased for you.
No, it's so nice. And she'll be flying an aircraft that you successfully landed not so long back, Matt.
Yeah, will you stop going on about that?
Sorry, I'm just gonna keep saying. Just want to say.
I would like to add to that I've had a lot of people help me and train me and guide me and keep me in a positive mindset. So without them, I might not have been able to do it, and I really want to say that a lot of people have really helped me through. It's been 6 years since I graduated, and all this time there have been moments where I wasn't as confident as I am now that it's going to work out.
Good.
So I really should say that, thank you to everybody who's been there for me and who's helped me along the way. So.
Wonderful.
So I have a question. Obviously, you're probably most excited about getting on the aircraft and flying it for the first time in the uniform and with passengers in the back and everything. But aside from that, what are you most excited about?
You've taken the only things that she was excited. You've taken them away, Eoin. What do you like?
The uniform.
That
the
is
uniform.
the exact thing I'm excited about.
Yeah.
It's just an entirely new step. I was invited to the job interview during my vacation, during my time off, and I came back to work after I'd applied after I'd done the grading and the assessment, and I came back with several of my colleagues having life-changing news. Some of them bought houses, some of them are trying to get pregnant, and those are all things that really change your life from the way it is right now, and I think I'm in that position as well. This is really like the next step, the thing I've been working toward for a very long time, and the entire journey, all the steps in between, the entire process, that's what I'm looking forward to, and that's what I'm most excited about, to finally move from the place where I'm right now to that Boeing 737 and finally starting to gain experience and building, hours and getting places.
It is so exciting. Now, I do have to ask one question, though. Obviously, there is a very important part of any first officer or captain's job, and that involves pressing a little button that goes bing bong that everybody can hear, and then you have to make a little announcement. Now, have you worked out what you're going to say during your little briefing that you give to the passengers? Have you worked all that out yet, or am I now terrifying you and you don't want to do it anymore?
I think that's part of the training.
Oh, is it? So right. Okay. Yeah.
We'll come back to that later.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Good. Let's hope so. Do you know what? I would give anything to be on that first flight.
Yes.
I would literally give up.
We'll make that our first flight to Amsterdam.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Definitely. How cool would that be? Well, as I say, from all of us here, Mila, we are so pleased for you, and another little round of applause. I think. Well done, my dear. Well, bravo.
Thank you.
Mila's joined that big group now. You see. We've got Pip, we've got Nick, we've got Al, and now obviously Matty Fab, because he's kind of he's making his way there, and Mila's there now.
It's all good.
Blimey. So we have been chatting obviously about our 200th show, which is going to be in January next year. That's going to be on the 20th. Of
20th
January.
Saturday the 20th.
Saturday the 20th of January.
Absolutely.
And like I said, we're going to try and get... I mean, we have obviously got a very limited amount of people that we can get to come down to the simulator in London, which is at East Putney. That's it, East Putney.
But further details of where that is, obviously, will be sent to the successful ballotees, for want of a better word. So, yes, if you would like to be put in the draw, I mean, we're not going to be doing it for a little while yet, but if you'd like to be put in the draw,
send us an
email us.
We've had one, actually, while we've been doing the show.
Oh, fantastic.
Dan Hannington.
Oh, excellent. Good.
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear. Yeah. So, yes, get your request to be put in the ballots, please, to podcast@planetalkinguk.com. That's podcast@planetalkinguk.com. We're going to do a live show from there.
Yeah,
we're going to hopefully have a bit of sim time. And all that. So and Mother's even going to do some catering. So there'll even be munchies available. So you can taste the very fine Smith munchies that Mother specialises in.
And for those of you who didn't see the kind of the bits that we took, the video that we had from the sim session when we were there a few weeks back, Matt is in the process of putting together a little kind of promotional ad, really, for the guys there at NP. It's a kind of promotional ad that we're going to have on the show.
Yes, yeah, indeed, absolutely, yeah.
So you'll be able to see some of what they do.
Absolutely. Well, there was loads of footage when we put the video out. As if you go back to that episode, that's the one with the MP solutions simulations. Sorry, that's not solutions, simulations. And we put out some footage of our time there in the sim, and with you guys landing at Kai-Tak and all sorts, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you landing at Heathrow.
Yes, all right. Gloss over that. Move on.
Well, how do you find the sim? Do you enjoy sim time, or seeing as you're going to be spending the next 6 months?
It must feel very different, I suppose, when you're being assessed as to whether you can carry on. Essentially, I mean, it's like for us, it's great fun because obviously we're just having fun. But it must feel very different when you are being assessed on literally everything.
Actually, the simulator that Mila goes in, I think, is yours a fixed base, Mila, or is it a full motion simulator that you train in?
Well, I go to two locations. One location is a fixed base simulator of the 737-800, and the other location is a 737-400, and that's a full flight one. So that one moves.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the what's it called? Anyway, there are slight differences between them, the two cockpits, and they handle a little bit differently, because I think the 800 is a little bit longer, the aircraft is a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But I mean, I honestly thought. I mean, the thing is, I mean, I actually got motion sickness when we were because I was sat at the back of the plane in it, so watching what was going on, and I was sort of standing around, and I kept. As I say, I actually, it's surprising how realistic a fixed space one actually is. It's scary stuff, really. As I say, but obviously not a patch on a full motion thing. But yeah. Anyway, that is where we have to start wrapping up the show. If you want to interact with the show, obviously lots of ways to do that. So our website is www.planetalkinguk.com. You'll find us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/planetalkinguk. Our Twitter handle is @planetalkinguk. And of course, please get your feedback into us. We don't mind whether it's in writing or audio would be even better. Please send that into podcast@planetalkinguk.com. So that is where we bring episode number 168 to a close. Eoin, thank you very much as always for joining us here live in the studio.
Thank you very much for having me.
And obviously, Mila, what can we say? Thank you so very much. It's been a real pleasure to have you on. Please do keep us all posted. We want to hear all about it.
Absolutely, I will.
Yeah, good.
Pictures,
Indeed.
Mila.
Like, absolutely.
Thank you for having me. It's been so much fun.
You're a star. So from all of us here in the studio and the lovely Mila somewhere near Eindhoven, Eoin, who's made it all the way over here from, Stansted, frankly, it is where we say goodbye. Thanks very much for watching and listening, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.